Hi, and welcome to Mountain Aromatics. I wanted today to, first off, I'm going to do kind of a number of short live shows, a number of them in a row, and each one's going to be a separate one. So they'll be a little bit shorter and by subject. So that's what I'm going to do. Anyway, so today what I wanted to do was give you a homework assignment that's going to help you grow. And what I would like you to do that can be very helpful is go through your formula journal or your things that you've already created, whichever's easiest for you. And I want you to pick out one of your formulas that you absolutely love, really, really love. Now I'm going to back up. So the best way to do that, for you to really know what a formula is like, I'll just give you an example. So I had a 100% undiluted formula, and when you smell this undiluted formula, obviously it's very concentrated, but those molecules are so concentrated, you're not going to get the real aroma, meaning all the different nuances that you created in your formula. You are not going to smell that. So what you can do is, and hopefully I have one right here. Gosh, I don't. Anyway, make a 5% in like a little spray bottle, or you can even, because I've done this before, in your little 2 ml vials, you can make a 5% or a 10% in Perfumer's alcohol. Make that, and then get one of your scent strips with the name, the percent, and hopefully all your formulas have a number, and put the number on there. Dip it in, and then smell. That is going to give you a better understanding and a more accurate portrayal of what your formula smells like. So I'm saying that because if you have one of your formulas that you're like, oh my God, it's amazing, it's my favorite, it's one of my favorites, I really, really love it, and you are just smelling the 100% undiluted formula, it is not necessary. It's not going to be, I'm just going to tell you, it's not going to be the same. Yes, it's incredibly similar, but all of the facets, all of the nuances you're not going to get. So take the ones that you really, really love and dilute them down into a 5% or a 10% Perfumer's alcohol solution, and find out how they really are. Then you can say, wow, it really, because you might be like, fall in love with it even more, or this happens, you're like, oh, it's not quite what I thought it was. And I say that because that happened to me yesterday. And so I just wanted to tell you, so that's the first thing for you to do, is to dilute one of your favorite ones, or some of them. I do all of mine that I really, really like. I will dilute them down and I make them in a spray bottle. And I like a spray bottle for me more than putting it in just a little vial like this, because if it turns out to be really, really good, you have it in a sprayer and several people can use it instead of, I don't know, doing this and every single person doing it, it will be easier in a spray bottle. So that's what I do it. And then you can just spray it on your scent strip. So that's what I do. And let me get one of my, and of course I don't have one. Okay. So I want to tell you one other tip. And I've not forgotten about our assignment. I'm just trying to help you before you do your assignment and to make your assignment better. For those of you who just joined, I'm giving you a homework assignment to help you grow. So when you are making your sprayer, you're going to put however many drops. Usually I have found for a 10%, it's going to be 8 drops. That's me and my math. So you're going to do that. So instead of putting your 8 drops in and then your perfumer's alcohol in and then putting on the cap, that is wrong. Do you know why? Say it out loud. The reason that is wrong is because you want to put your 8 drops in, put your perfumer's alcohol in, and then you want to shake this. Why? Your undiluted material is going to be at the bottom and is not going to be throughout. When you put your sprayer top in, it goes all the way to the bottom, and the oil that's still at the bottom goes up into the sprayer. Then you're going to be spraying a 100% undiluted part, even though it's in the alcohol. So you're going to need to shake it first and then put your sprayer top on. Very important. I learned that back in the day because I'm like, why is it so strong? Oh my gosh, it's because I didn't shake it and then put the sprayer top on. So that's that. Now, after you have found a really good formula, one of them that you really, really, really like, and Amy, you're there, so I'm going to tell you this. You're going to be like, what? This video is inspired by you. I'm not even kidding you, Miss Amy Thompson. The reason is she gave me some feedback on a formula, on a fragrance that I did, and I was like, oh my God, I want to make another one based off of that. So your homework assignment is to take one of these that you really, really love. You've figured it out because you've made a 10% solution. And yes, this one's amazing. I totally love it. Well, looking at that formula, what I want you to do is make another formula based off of that one. So I'm going to go into a little bit of detail of what I kind of mean by that. What I mean by that is, like, let's say you have tuberose, like a tuberose accord in your formula. So in your new formula, what you can do is you can get, if you have another material that is a tuberose but different, you can use that, like maybe a really, really creamy tuberose. And then the one that you used here is a tuberose that's not so creamy and it's a little bit more narcotic and sharper, that type of thing. So over here, use a tuberose that is a little creamier or something like that. Or you can go something that is similar to tuberose is going to be a gardenia. So switch over and put a gardenia in there instead. So then you can go on to another one, like hedione. So if you have hedione in your formula, over here, try hedione HC, the high C's. So, and it doesn't mean you have to change every single one and they have to be different. No, keep some of them the exact same. So let's say you have raspberry ketone methyl ester in your formula. Keep your raspberry ketone and put it in your new formula. and just go down the line. And so you have two different formulas. This one you already know, oh my God, it's amazing. I don't know how I did this one. It's crazy amazing. You're making another one that is different, but it's based off of this. The reason I'm having you do this is because, there's my little one, is because sometimes you can make another one based off of it and you're like, what? It's even better. So what you're kind of doing is, instead of taking this formula and just tweaking it a tiny bit, like, oh, I'm going to add, instead of 2 drops of my raspberry ketone, I'm going to put 3 drops. Instead of, which you can do, you can tweak this, you know, adding and subtracting a couple of drops with different things, but that's not what I'm telling you to do. What I'm telling you to do, instead of small tweaks, I'm telling you to take this formula and make a new formula, but based off of this. So there are some material differences, and there are some materials that are exactly the same. So what I do is, once I have all those materials laid out that I want to put in it, I do not look at this formula anymore. So I don't know how many drops. Oh, I put 5 drops in there. I have no idea. I don't remember how many drops I put. So I start with a blank slate, and I come over here and I write down all of my materials, and then I start making it this way. So it really is a different formula, but it's based off of this one. I know I feel like I'm getting so basic, but so that to me is not tweaking this formula, just small little changes. It is very similar, but you are coming out with something a little bit different, and it's just going to I just think this will help enhance and help you grow with the different things, with a formula that you like. And it's going to be a slightly different formula. So the other thing I want to tell you is, still, you can take this formula and you can do a small tweak with it. And that's awesome, because you can find out, hey, can I make this better? Can it be a little bit better? And you need to do that. That is awesome. You want to do that. I just want you to do something a little bit different. So I want to push you into doing something new. Amy says, it sounds like it could really be a lot different, especially if, especially if the person has a bad memory. Well, it won't necessarily be a lot different, especially what I'm telling you to do is go through each one, and you don't have to change the material. It could be the same material, and then change a material. Like, instead of tuberose, use something very similar to tuberose, and that's going to be a gardenia. So switch over to a gardenia, and then make, this can be easy. Keep it 85 to 95% the same. So change your materials to something similar with 15% of your materials. That's different than tweaking a material where you're like, oh, I have 4 drops, I'm going to put 3 drops. Oh, I have 7 drops, I want to put 8 drops. Here I have 10 drops, I want to put 9 drops. That to me is tweaking, and that's a little bit different than where I want you to go. But this is going to be very similar. It's just going to be slightly different, where You're just going to substitute some things, correct? Because sometimes substituting those things can give you a totally different, well, it is going to give you a, not totally different. It's just going to give you something that's a slight a variation on this, which to me, again, is a little bit different than tweaking, because tweaking here is, oh, my raspberry isn't quite enough. I'm going to just up my raspberry 1, and there's a slight, tiny, tiny difference. This is going to be a little bit more than slightly different. I just think it'd be a great homework assignment, and I think it could be helpful. So then let this age. Then you're going to do the same thing where you're going to make a 5% or a 10% solution, and you're going to take these two formulas and you're going to see the difference. Because when you start to smell the differences, you're going to be like, oh, this is what I smell that's different, that's in here. That's what this thing right here is, what I smell here, and over here the difference is this material. And you know, I like this material because it's doing this to the formula, to the aroma. It gives me more of that narcotic nuance, and I really get that, and I really like that. So when I compare these two formulas, now I'm smelling the difference in the two and figuring out what's making them smell different. What is making the softer tones come out, and what is making the more narcotic aroma come out. That's what you will learn from doing this. That's what I want to teach you. So definitely the same theme, correct, Elsevier. So it's going to teach you two things. One, it's going to teach you how to become better with substitutions, and it's going to also teach you how nuances will be different. Sorry, my dog anyway, this is live. There we go. Anyway, the second part again is just where I want you to learn the nuances, because you switched this one out with this. How did it change? And well, I feel like I'm repeating myself, but yeah, Amy, I think everybody's kind of used to it. So anyway, I'm gonna just tell you really quick, I'm going to make a number of these videos. They're gonna be short, just like this. Every single one is gonna have a different subject. And I'm serious, I mean right now, like I'm about to shut this one down and I'm gonna start a new live show, because I want to have a number of live shows and I'm able to do it right now. So I'm gonna do it. They'll just be different subjects, okay? So let me just read two things really, really quick. Like Dascano powdery formula that will remove the powder effect, and learning that Demoscone is part of the powdery effect. Yes, Elsevier, perfect. Barbara, I have some raspberry ketone methyl ester, but can hardly smell it. Is this typical? Yeah, let me grab mine really quick. I use it all the time. I know exactly where it is. It is one, Barbara, that is not strong. It's not like, oh, fresh raspberries. No, and it's not, and it's just, I'm going to say it's not meant to be. In your formula, what the raspberry ketone will do is it's going to give it a little bit more of a watery, fresher, lighter formula. That's what it's going to do to your formula. And it is slightly raspberry, which is a good thing to use with roses. Just throwing that out there. It's just going to give you a little bit lighter, cleaner, watery effect to your formula. Sorry, I'm just reading the rest of Barbara's. Is this one of those materials that really doesn't make itself known until you add it to a blend? Yes, that's what I'm talking about. It will do that. You really, I know it's crazy, but you don't need a lot. Meaning, let's say you have a formula of 30 drops of pure formula in your formula. One drop can do a lot. Now, if you have like 60, do 2 drops. Start there. And possibly 3 drops, and that's about all you need with raspberry ketone. It is more powerful than you think. I'll just say that it is. It's way more powerful than you think. So, thank you so much. And this is 20 minutes. This is about perfect with how I wanted it to be. So. I am going to, this is the last time I'm going to say this on all of these, but I'm going to shut this one down and I'm going to start a new one. Okay. The only thing I have to do is I have to wait for it to process. And with 20 minutes, it might take 5 minutes to process. So for those of you, I'll be back in about 5 minutes. Okay. Thank you very much for joining me here at Mountain Aromatics. If you like this, give me a thumbs up. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe. I have a Patreon page. So if this is helpful for you, if this is a education for you and you want to help support me, you can go to patreon.com/Mountain Aromatics and support me. And I would appreciate that. So if you value this, you can help support me. Thank you. I appreciate it. And I will see you on the next Mountain Aromatics.